Hi, this is your host, Kristen Howe, and I would like to welcome you to today's call. Today, I am pleased to welcome Jafree Ozwald. Jafree noticed his intuitive abilities at a young age living in Colorado. He always had a deep curiosity of the mystical world with a strong need to know the truth. This driving need ultimately took him to India. There, at the age of 25, he experienced a profound change that directed him to his current spiritual path. From a small Mennonite college to Costa Rica, Norway, and finally his Samadhi experience in India, Jafree now devotes his life to sharing the deepest truth of what he has learned to assist the world in their awakening. Speaking with Jafree today, you will discover how to manifest anything your heart desires in 90 days or less, how to create a more intimate connection with the universe, how you can uncover a deeper resource of peace within yourself, how to reinvent yourself to create the world you want, and finally, how to shape-shift your life from the inside out. So, Jafree, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome to this call.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Couldn't wait to have you on this. So, can you share with us for a few minutes what some of the major turning points were for you in your life that allowed you to manifest your current level of success?
Well, I'd say the first one is the most obvious is the trip to India, where I sat with a guru named Papaji for several weeks. I had been meditating very deeply and profoundly for, probably 3 or 4 months before that, because my dad had passed away, and there was just a real deep need to know the truth. What happened is I just woke up. There was a complete awakening of the truth of who we really are, which is something that we can't really speak in words, but the experience I had was there was such a profound silence inside of me that there was no more of this chatter. There was no more of the thoughts going through the mind. There was just this pure awareness that was watching and listening to the experiences that were happening, that were flowing through me, and it wasn't like there was anything separate anymore. There was no sense of separation from me, from the outer world, or that anybody was separate from me. There was just a sense of complete unity from that space. So what happened from that point on was an integration period, going back to the Western world where everyone believes that they're separate from the world around them and their body, and that there's not this experience of complete unity and oneness and harmony, that I had to integrate, and I'm still to this day integrating this dichotomy, which we're living in this great paradox. And I love the analogy that that there's 3 sides to every coin. We have the experience of unity, being one with everything and everyone. And then we have this experience of separation, feeling distant or, not connected to our thoughts or friends or family or whoever. And then there's the fine line between those 2 worlds, which is the razor's edge, which I feel is what we're all really all meant to find and walk that edge of what is beyond or between the worlds of separation and the world of unification. And so the mind is going to throw this around going, what? What is that? And so this paradox, this mystery is really what we're here to discover, and where we can transcend the mind. Because it's the mind that creates all of our suffering. It creates this sense of unity, and it creates a sense of separation. It creates what we want. It creates what we don't want. It creates all our problems. It creates all our answers. The mind is the solution, and it's the big thing in the way that's causing everything to feel stuck in our lives. And so finding that real, just call that narrow razor's edge, where you are standing in this world, but not of the world, is where you're going to find this deep resource of peace, where you can actually feel the infinity of your soul, of the universe, of existence. And that's the greatest place that we can allow ourselves to be, is in that state of infinity, of eternity, of timelessness, spaciousness, and a sense of just deep well-being arises out of that naturally, because there's so much a sense of there's nobody there, to fight the world anymore. When you're in a state of timelessness, you pretty much dissolve, because who you are basically consists of the past and the future, right? All your memories and all your desires and hopes and dreams for tomorrow. When those aren't really pressing on you, then you actually get in touch with the infinity, the timeless being that you really truly are, which is who we all are. You can't create that. You can't change that. There's nothing you can do about that to even try to create it, because it already is what you are. There's just more of a sense of surrender. And so when I met Papaji, there was this, complete surrender to this experience, and it was like an atomic bomb went off. The understanding of who I was, of all these ideas of the past and all the thoughts about the future, they all just vanished in this atomic explosion inside my being, inside my mind. And just imagine the silence that's left over that obliteration. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, I think people these days are trying to destroy their egos and minds through, drugs and alcohol and just crazy things that, push themselves to the edge of their work, and addictions to money and whatnot that people get wrapped up in, is all as an attempt to dismantle this ego mind that is, basically has its hands white knuckled to the steering wheel of life, trying to control this whole thing, when in reality, as my understanding, it's already on track. Your life is already on its perfect track, even though your mind may not agree with it and think it should be different. But as far as your soul and what your soul's here to experience, it's perfect. Everything is unfolding exactly the way it needs to for your highest enlightenment. And when you see that, when you believe that, when you know that to be the truth, every little thing, and you can go back to your whole life and you can every incident was there for my highest awakening, then you get it. Then you finally can relax and dive deeper inside yourself into this infinity of who you really are. And then you can start living life from that infinity, from that infinite self. And that's where things really become very juicy, and the movie of life becomes just lucid. I've heard so many sayings, I've only had glimpses of this, that this world, is truly the dream world. And when we wake up fully, then we see that the real life is that which is beyond the physical, which is more into the spiritual realm of who we really are. So it's quite a mouthful to
no, it's great. Perfect.
Take in. But
I love the razor's edge. I love that you said that. That's such a clear image.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we live in a world of paradoxes, right? I mean, black and white, male and female, good and bad. And what's between those? It's so easy for the mind to say, oh, this is wrong. Like that person, what they said, that was wrong. And yet, if we live on that razor's edge, we don't necessarily get sucked into that judgment or that condemnation of even ourselves, which I think is the problem that people are really not seeing is happening, is that there's this constant, negative self-talk that happens when they're not even really seeing it or hearing it, because they're so used to it over 20, 30, 50 years of berating oneself or belittling oneself, or saying, well, you can't do that, or that's not possible, or you can only take in so much love, or you're just a mouse, you're not a lion, and get back in your cage. You're kind of, those kind of thoughts, just generalized thoughts, come through consciousness because we were conditioned from our parents and grandparents to think that we weren't infinite beings, because they didn't know. They didn't believe that they were infinite beings with infinite intelligence and infinite power and wisdom, and truly this access to information and ability to co-create whatever we want in the world merely by intention. Holding an intention, allowing the space and the energy for that to manifest is really what, manifesting comes from. As long as there's no blocks, in the way, the way I understand it is that there's either a karmic incident from the past, is a tight little feeling that we have in our body, like we're not good enough, we don't deserve it, or I can't be big enough, I can't expand myself enough to allow this, whatever, this new love or new wealth or a new house, car, or whatever it is you want to manifest. So there's so many different blocks that we have inside of ourselves personally that are so unique, and every human being is so different than the other. And so it's not like everybody should be eating the same diet, or, you know what I mean? It's like we all have to have these really unique experiences of life to unfold ourselves. And the karmic aspect, like the things that are blocking us, you talk to any psychoanalyst out there and they'll be like, yeah, every human being is like this huge puzzle, and they're so different about how one person unravels versus another. So you can't just give one piece of advice that's going to work necessarily for everyone all the time. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for, is that one quick fix that, you just tell me what to do and I'll do it, and life will shift. So there's so much inside of us that we can't necessarily do it ourselves. And that's why there is this world of 7 billion people to reflect ourselves. If you dive deeper down the rabbit hole, you start to understand that, there is this illusion of separation. These 7 billion people are an aspect of this infinite self. We're all part of this one divine self, this infinite soul that it's like a hand with 7 billion fingers. And we're all operating as if we're separate. But in reality, the bigger truth, if you can step back a little bit from your life, your individual life, you see that, oh, wow, we are just like these fish in the ocean. We all turn the same moment, and we all are very deeply psychically connected on such intimate levels. The only way we can realize that is when we come into more of a sensitivity. Meditation really helps. It's the key to enlightenment. It's the golden key. And there's nothing more important than to take the time and practice and energy and devote your life to bringing the mind into a place of stillness. And what I teach in my work is manifesting through enlightenment, and enlightenment comes through manifesting. They both go together, because we aren't separate from the world, and our desires. The universe already knows what you want, even almost before you even know what you want. The universe, right. It's like, okay, we're sending it to you right now, but can you relax enough to receive it? Can you be happy enough to open your joy valve enough to let it in? It really depends on your limitations that you've built up around who you are and what your life's about and what the world is. And a lot of, there's conditioning from who knows where it came from, but it's like, is this world a messed up world? Or is this world an absolutely perfect world? Or is it both? And if it's both, then there's no conflict. We can live in this world. We can do what we want to do. We can help others, and we don't have to feel a sense of need or urgency or pressure or fear, because it's perfect and it's messed up. It just depends on what side of the coin your perspective is. So you just want to, again, keep riding that razor's edge, which is what the Buddha and all the enlightened masters that have ever walked on this planet, which there's many. I'm guessing in the thousands that have been on this planet and have seen what it's like and felt what it's like to walk on this razor's edge every day. And if you even look at little children, like babies, like they're so in the present moment. They're not in the past. They're not in the future. There is only this now moment. And that is the razor's edge. And there's nothing more powerful as far as waking up to your spiritual truth and manifesting everything that your heart can ever dream of. And so it's a very synchronistic, there's this word, I think Deepak Chopra coined it a year or many years ago, is synchrodestiny. It really describes what is really happening to us too in this time, is because we are all moving into our true destiny, which is, what our soul came here to experience. And it's kind of like the film has already been shot and it's in the can, and you're watching it frame by frame. So you don't, everything's predestined, and there is absolutely complete free will in each moment. And the mind, again, is not going to be able to handle that. The mind's going to go, which one is it? Is everything predestined, or do I have free will? Well, it's both. And if you can contain both in your being, if you can expand yourself big enough to say, I can believe in both do exist. This is an infinite universe. And so all possibilities must exist in an infinite space-time realm. If you can say, yes, both do exist, I'm just going to walk between these worlds and see what that's like, even for an hour or 24 hours or a week, just to see, you'll be blown away. Like you'll be so transformed on the deepest levels, because all of your relationships will change. Everything that you thought was hard to manifest, you'll see how effortless it becomes. You will find love where every corner you turn, every person you meet, because you actually wake up to the source of who you are, which is love itself. It's the vibration of love. That's what we're born with as children. They're bubbles of bliss, bubbles of light and love. And you look in a baby's eyes and there's just pure bliss, joy. That's our nature. We all have that, right? I mean, even the people that you think don't, the people that are frowning and so stern and so serious about life, which life has that possibility too, right? That's the other side of the coin. But it's like, okay, what's it like to really walk that razor's edge in each moment, so that you don't fall off the side of judging others or yourself, or falling to a space of, I'm better than you and I'm amazing and look how special I am and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, we don't want to get caught in the ego. We want to transcend all identities, all forms of thought that, label us as good or bad, or we're somebody or we're nobody. We want to come to this place of true enlightenment, which is absolute freedom. On the deepest level, where we are on that razor's edge all the time.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's huge. I mean, and that's what's happening on this world. In this world, right. It's happening. And I think we'll see even more and more and more people waking up. It's like popcorn, it's like this explosion of lightness. We were these tight little condensed bodies, and then all of a sudden we open up and see, wow, we don't have to live so small. We can actually choose to live into this expanded nature, which is our true nature. And it's childlike, it's innocent, it's playful, it has a willingness to be wrong. It doesn't care. It just doesn't care if it's wrong. And you'll see that most people, that's the thing that they do. They defend their point of view. I'm right, you're wrong. And that's what creates so much suffering and so much divorce and war and all of that creates so much pain. And it's all wonderful. It creates more awakening. The more pain, the more you're going to wake up. People who get divorced, or their parent dies, or somebody close to them dies, they have to go deep inside. That pain forces them so deep into the core of who they are that they can't ignore this spark of light and consciousness that is at the core. And so that's, life is just the perfect teacher. because you're going to experience joy, you're going to experience pain here, you're going to experience everything in between. And it's all there to help you to wake up, so that you are so free and so alive and so full of joy, and that you're just celebrating each moment on that razor's edge. And that you don't buy into the stories. You don't buy into stuff that you see in the media that this is going to make you happier, or this is going to fix you, because everything in the outer world is temporary. Everything, even the body, is temporary. What makes you think that something outside of you is going to, make everything better inside? I mean, sure, temporarily it will. That's the whole thing. Is it's all very temporary and it's fun, but just be careful not to buy into the illusion that, oh, it's gonna fix everything. This person, if I marry this person, it's gonna fix everything. Oh, if I get this job, this money, it's gonna fix everything. Then I'll be happy. People forget about the razor's edge when they get sucked into their desire, whatever it is. Maybe it's a desire for enlightenment. Maybe it's a desire for, some spiritual experience or something, and still that's being sucked onto one side of the coin and not riding this razor's edge. So, and
is riding the razor's edge how I know you said, and I love how you said it before, because you said, and then you can manifest everything you desire in your heart. And you said it with such certainty. There wasn't that sort of drive that can sometimes come with that feels frantic. You just said it very calmly and matter-of-factly, and I like that. And I know that you talked about being able to manifest anything your heart desires. And you even said in 90 days or less. So with all of the mind that gets in the way and the ego that gets in the way, how do we do that?
Well, created a program that will take you through step by step. There's 8 habits that raise your vibration on the mental, emotional, physical, financial, spiritual, all these levels, okay? And if you do it for 90 days, okay, and I don't even say you have to do it every day. You get one day off. You can do it 6 days a week. And I think it actually works better if you take a day off and you don't follow it for one day, because it's like boot camp for enlightenment and manifesting everything that you want. If you can do it for 90 days, your vibration will be so high that you might not recognize who you are. Because what happens is when you raise your frequency, everything, all those blocks that are in the way, that's stopping you from attracting and creating and allowing for what you want, they just get set aside, because your frequency gets so high that you go beyond them, you transcend them. There's a place in your consciousness that doesn't allow for blocks, doesn't allow for negative thinking, doesn't allow for limiting thoughts at all. The only reason I know this is because I've been there. I experienced it, and it's so phenomenal that it's so blissful. And that's the reason why you want to do it. You don't want to necessarily do it for the goodies that manifest, but that's the carrot that the donkey has to have in front of him to get him to motivated, right? And so we all need these desires, these physical or spiritual desires, whatever they are, to be the carrot to help us to move into this higher frequency, which I call it's like you're manifesting vibration, which it's just a word that it speaks out what we already are, and you can take it to a whole nother level. It's so hard to talk about sometimes, because there's so many elements to it that get transformed, as far as the way that you feel about yourself. Like if there's like negative thoughts or feelings that you're holding on to, they can't fit into your body anymore. You just can't feel those anymore because your frequency won't allow them. When you change your diet, which I say is one of the hardest things for people to change, and you're going to find the greatest results in the shortest amount of time when you shift your diet. And just whatever you put into your mouth is your diet. And your diet can also be your mental diet, your emotional diet, right? Is what are you putting into your mind as far as what are you watching on TV and the radio and the internet and What are you filling your head full of? And once you get really conscious and really aware and like, oh, is this what I want to manifest more of? Okay, maybe not. Maybe I should focus on something else and change the channel and focus on something that makes me really feel good. And you'll see that once you start filling your mind, your mental diet with thoughts and things and pictures, movies, videos, or whatever that open your heart, then your frequency just automatically just right there, it just shifts to another higher level. It's just basically turning up the octave like on a piano, just playing higher notes. Because I don't want to say like that it's bad where anybody's at. If they're in a low vibration, having a low day, bad day, horrible things are happening, and I'm mad, sad, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. That's it's the right experience for where you're at in your consciousness and your vibration and what you're needing to process out as far as your karma, what blocks, beliefs. It's all perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. But the thing is that by nature, we human beings, we're built for success, right? Our bodies heal themselves automatically. We don't have to do anything. You get a cut, it heals itself, right? Unless you have, some illness that stops it, but it will always heal itself. Your body is amazing. And so the same thing happens with, something that you want to manifest. There's sort of like a lack of it or a thought that we are missing it. And so the body is so connected, energetically to the universe. It just sends out the signal already. Hey, this is something that I want. And the universe responds. It's so weird because it just knows already. It's basically synchronistic. As soon as you have the desire for something, the universe already knows that you want that. You don't, and if you keep plugging along saying, I want this, I want this, I want this, you create a hole in your being that says, I don't have this. So if you want to manifest something, you just start affirming that it's already in your life. Whatever it is, if you want that new relationship, you already feel like you're, snuggling on the couch with your partner, just looking into each other's eyes. It's as simple as that. And once you start holding that vision and start feeling what that's like, then the universe says, oh, well, you're vibrationally ready for it. You're creating a match on your inner world. So we're going to help you create that on the outer world so that you can find an even deeper state of consciousness or joy or bliss inside of you, because now you're not having to need or desire that anymore. I'm going to help you fulfill you. And the universe is amazing. It's benevolent. And just like, it's just like our body constantly healing itself.
Wow.
It's the inner world and the outer world. When you get to a certain level of consciousness, you don't see that they're separate anymore. You see that there's just this oneness. Is the best way to describe it.
No, that's great. And actually that brings me to my next question, which is because it sounds like, the connection to the universe is, and our connecting to it and seeing that oneness is really essential. So is there something we can do, even in just a few seconds to create a more intimate connection with the universe?
Yeah, absolutely. You start by focusing on the parts of yourself where you don't feel connected. Okay, you acknowledge those. Say, okay, I don't feel connected with this person. I don't feel connected this way. This is where my disconnections are. This is where my unenlightenment is still harboring. And once you realize, okay, these are my real blocks, then you create an awareness around them. And it's all about awareness. The more awareness you have, the easier life becomes. Okay, just simply put. And so when you create awareness around these limitations, then there's this place of oh, wow, there's that thought again. When it pops up, you don't buy into it. You don't jump on that bandwagon going, oh yeah, this is reality. You start to go back into awareness of it and just watch it. And so it's in the witnessing and the watching of our thoughts that we drop deeper inside into the state of oneness or isness that already is this unification, which is where we become the tails and the heads and the middle of the coin, where you don't even have to ride the edge anymore, where you become the totality of which is basically samadhi, where you drop into a state of unification with Source or God. And there's this, all the great masters and enlightened beings on this planet have lived in this and tasted it and dropped in and out of it, had to integrate it and come to a place of letting go of the ego. Life is this huge release of the ego, is ultimately, I think, why we, not necessarily why we're all here, but there's an element of purpose. It gives our soul purpose, while we're here, is to have something to do, something to let go of. It's not just about making a bunch of money and things just so that we have to give them all up at the end of the life, right? It's deeper than that. It's that we're here to really let go of this ego, this identity, this sense of me that, we're so close to. People talk about you, and all of a sudden you jump, like your solar plexus gets all fired up. Oh, they're talking about me. What are they saying? This is me. It's really funny because we're so identified with this me. And, once you get to a state of samadhi, you realize that's just another illusion. That's just another idea. There's this idea of me. Well, what is me? Who am I? Like that's the ultimate question to sit with, because that will unravel everything. Just sitting with that. And so that brings everyone into a state of complete chaos and confusion of, well, I don't know who I am anymore. Like I thought I was this person, and now maybe I'm much bigger, or maybe I'm much smaller. And it's like that bumper sticker, right? Question reality. Question it constantly. Question who you are, not from a place of that there's something wrong, but from a place of that there's a deep, deep rabbit hole to jump down into. And it may just be the most ordinary, sweet little rabbit hole with little fuzzy bunnies along the way, or something, really nice. It doesn't have to be scary to go deep inside your being. But if you haven't really explored inside yourself, there's that fear of the unknown, which is this was basically why people run from themselves, and they hide and be busy with all the distractions of life, food and TV, internet, books, and knowledge and success and blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's so much to do to keep us distracted. They're wonderful distractions, from the spiritual path. But there's this sense of, wait a minute, why are we here? Why are we really here?
And so you said that causes, inevitably, that will cause a little bit of conflict of, I don't know why I'm, so how do we, I know you talk about uncovering a deeper resource of peace within yourself, and I assume that's essential. So how do we do that when we're in that moment of, why am I here?
Well, that's what meditation's for, is you sit in the eye of the storm. If you look at the hurricane, okay, and scientists know this, that at the very middle of the hurricane, it's absolutely still. It's quiet. People who've been in hurricanes, they know that there's 100-mile winds, and then all of a sudden it gets quiet, and then the hurricane reverses, goes the other direction. There's another 100-mile wind. So it's finding that place in the middle. The middle path is this razor's edge. It's the same path. Dropping into this moment so deeply in whatever shows up. So if it's chaos of, I don't know who I am, or it's this place of, I know who I am and I'm so determined and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's also accepted too, but what's deeper than that? What when you really ask a deeper question to yourself, the ego flips out because it doesn't know. And who we are is totally undefinable. We can't define who we are because it's infinite, right? It's beyond what you can write down on paper. And that's the scariest thing in the world, to jump off a cliff and know that there's no bottom. You're never going to hit bottom. No matter how many miles or light years you fall, you're never going to hit bottom. And so the ego is just like clinging. And so that's what's happening is people, they start to cling to their things or their relationships or their body or their mind, their thoughts, and they start to cling. And attachment will always, always lead to suffering on any level. When you're attached to anything, you misidentify with the truth of who you are, which is this infinite being, which doesn't need to be attached. You're infinite. You're eternal. You're never going to die. Why do you need to be attached to anything? So the chaos, this is the point where people cling even harder, is when they meet the unknown. So scary I don't know what's going to happen this weekend. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen to my job or my boss when he says this. I don't know. I'm going to react or whatever. Oh, well, you don't have to know. You really don't have to know right now, because when the moment happens, you're going to have the consciousness to respond on however you want to. Wherever your consciousness is at in the moment is how you're going to respond, so you don't have to worry about it. It's going to be perfect. However you respond is where you are at in your journey, and it's absolutely perfect. And that's one of the most important messages I've ever come across is that everything is perfect exactly as it is, because perfection contains imperfection. This world is messed up and it's divine. It's both. And if you look at the bigger picture of both, you'll see that it is perfect, because we need the polar opposite. We need the dark to recognize the light. We need the pain to recognize when there's peace. Right? I mean, we wouldn't know.
Absolutely.
And that's how we mature. The seed that gets planted, next to the rock in the soil, that has something to push against, something strong, something solid to move through the soft soil. And so it's those wounds inside of us that we all need to just welcome and go deeply inside and just sit in them and be like, wow, life is really painful. And in that pain, you'll find that there's peace, there's healing, there's a state of joy and a state of, I can just let it all go. Right. because it's not real. I mean, it is, but it's not. So anytime you hear anybody speak just one side of the coin saying, oh, this is the way it is, just know in the back of your head that, well, there's the other side of the coin too, that they're probably not wanting to share at this moment. If we present the case, yeah, sure, that other side of the story is true too. This person is the perpetrator and they're also the victim, of whatever happened in their past, how they were treated as a child. And that's what made them a perpetrator. So we're all victims and perpetrators and rescuers, and we all have these parts. And so you can't label anyone or anything anymore. And once you do, you're labeling yourself, you're dividing yourself, and your world becomes one-sided, and you create a hell for yourself, it's not fun, right? We all want to find a state of enlightenment. That's basically why we're here, is to graduate, to completely wake up from this dream world. And so it comes down to basically not judging anything as being good or bad. And it's hard, but once you get a hold of it, once you get into it, you'll find how fun it is. It's this exciting ride. And it really helps to not medicate yourself. It really helps to not numb yourself out, because when you're on alcohol or drugs or anything, your mind is not clear enough to see, oh, I'm on this side of the coin. Oh, I'm pulling, down this road. The clarity is not there. So purifying your body and mind is essential to waking up, because it's like swimming in a pool of mucky water. You can't see 5 feet in front of you. And so purifying your body is part of the routine that I help people to go through, that it's the detoxification. We just don't realize how toxic our world is. If you go into the store, everything's processed, boxed, and canned, and old food's been sitting there for 9 months or something. Who knows? And it's like, oh, this is healthy? this is going to bring me to a higher state of consciousness. I don't think so. It's just about the taste buds, and what I find with my world is my body, my mind, it skyrocket into higher states through just organic vegetables, fruits. It's so basic, so simple. And it's just when I keep my body on that diet, everything works so much easier than you can ever imagine. Like relationships, like anything that I want just basically unfolds for me in the right place, in the right time, of course, but it's effortless. I don't have to strive and push myself anymore. It's not this great struggle to get to the goal. And then when I get to the goal, then what? Am I going to be happy? No. I mean, it's like if you struggle for 20 years to get somewhere, you're going to be still struggling internally. It's all about how you're living your life. And when you have a really pure, clean diet, you'll see that your thoughts get really, really light, really clean, really pure. This summer, I did a 21-day juice fast where I just juiced veggies and fruits, and I drank like 10 watermelons. I blended them all up. It was amazing. It was amazing how clear things became, how easy life became. It was like I was walking uphill, and it was like floating uphill. Every day I would climb these stairs and be like, oh, I'm being lifted up by something else because of this diet. It makes life lighter. It's so amazing. Everybody knows how they feel after they eat a lot of food, and they don't realize how it affects their mind and their emotions and their consciousness, and then the thoughts they think for the next 12 hours trying to digest that. It really impacts us much, much more than I think we've come to really realize. And it's the foundation. The foundation of your thoughts is your body, and what you put in your body is what you put in your mouth. To me, it's just like, if you're going to ever try to help somebody in life, there's no way you can help them until you help their diet. That's just all I realize. It's just, there's no way. It's just, if they're eating a bunch of this nasty food that's just horrible for them, how are you going to change their mind? How are you going to change their emotions, the way that they feel about the relationship or about money or whatever they're trying to create in their lives? You just can't. It's like trying to build a house out of sand. It's like we got to create a different foundation. Diet is the foundation of the molecular structure of your body. Yeah. So for me, it all starts there. It's so basic, it's like diet and exercise. Okay, those are the basics. But it's like, that's where you start. And then once you get that down, you'll see that you start thinking more clearly. And then you can probably start either doing some release work, therapy-wise. Then after that, then you can get into meditation. Because if there's a lot of wounding and whatnot from the past, relationships or, trauma, it's like you can't sit still and meditate. You can't bring your mind into peace and tranquility, because you got all this turbulence from, 1954 or whatever, right? I mean, there's just stuff from the past that's still there. And so there's this process of bringing one's body into this higher frequency from the ground floor up. What happens is the Kundalini, which is this spiritual, this highly sexual, sensual energy, starts to awaken, and you feel really alive. And you just, wherever you go, there's this feeling of unstoppability in whatever you want to do, because the aliveness is so great. There's so much energy coursing through your body and mind, and it's just amazing. Life. You realize that life is truly amazing. There's something really precious, that this gift of life that we've been given, and to enjoy it is the main mission here. And to get to that place, I really believe it. We have to start from the bottom up. We have to really, be disciplined. Discipline leads us into a state of freedom. And if we can't focus on one thing and keep our mind on one thing, then how are we ever going to, reach our goal? Because the goal is this one thing. You can't keep your mind on that goal. If your mind's can't stay focused. And that's, the beginning meditator is just focusing on one thing, their breath, and chanting a mantra or whatever. But eventually that one thing drops and your mind stops focusing, and it comes into this state of expanded spaciousness, timelessness, this infinity. Then that's where you start to recognize, well, wait a minute, this is who I really am. It's profound. And to hold that vibration, you need the diet. But the diet is huge, absolutely vital. So the world right now is surrounded with, at least the Western world is, just has tons of seducing foods that are going to pull you into your taste buds and saying, oh, well, this is what I want to eat. I want to go out to eat and have this and this. But as far as what I found is my life has so much more, just a feeling of expandedness, of love, of success when I stick to just a simple vegetable fruit diet. I do eat meat, here and there occasionally, but it's like everybody's different. I'm not saying this is what everybody should be doing, but every body is different and needs different nutrition. It's really just about listening to what your body needs instead of your taste buds. And eventually you get to the point of this, purification. The stuff that's just kind of stuck in the pipes starts to release and come out, and then your mind starts to open up. Your whole being starts to become more receptive to the higher realms of thinking and consciousness. Yeah, it's all integrated.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
So
now I have a question for you, because we don't have tons of time left, but I would love if you'd be able to maybe do a guided meditation with us. I think I understand that you have an inner peace meditation. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can take you on a little inner journey.
I was going to say, if you'd be willing to share that with our listeners during this last bit of time, and then we can,
sure,
that would be fantastic.
Sure. So wherever you are right now, I just want you to sit down and just pay attention to your breath as you're listening to my voice. I'm watching your breath moving in and out. And just taking in all this information, letting it just settle inside your being as you relax. And just giving yourself full permission to relax. There's nothing you need to do. There's nowhere you need to go right now. You just are here to relax. And I want you to imagine now that there are roots of light, golden light, that are coming from the middle of your body, your torso, and going down your legs and into the earth, spreading out into the earth, these roots of light, connecting yourself with the earth. And let the base of your spine relax. Let all those muscles relax. As you drop down into the earth. Just feeling very rooted with this huge planet. Noticing what that feels like in your body, to let yourself be really grounded. The base of your spine is really relaxed, feeling very connected to the earth. Perhaps more connected than you have in your entire life. Just imagine what that may feel like. And now I want you to imagine your arms are like tree limbs shooting up into the heavens above, into infinity. And these limbs of light coming out the top of your body, as if you were this tree connected to the earth, shooting high, high to the heavens above. And just get a sense of what it's like to reach out into infinity, going beyond the sky. There's another sky and another sky forever. Going beyond the sun, this galaxy, all the billions of galaxies that are in this universe. Feeling connected to the infinity that exists here now. And let this vast, vast, spacious universe drop deep, deep into your brain, your body, and your mind. Feel the vastness that's inside of you. Just become one with the vastness. And just let go of whatever you may be clinging to right now. Give yourself this moment to drop away, be free. And in the very center of your being, notice there's the heart of who you are, the core, the center of you, the center of infinity. In infinite space and infinite time, every point is the center of that infinite space and time. And so you are the center of your universe. So go to the heart of your universe right now and just relax here. Just rest. You've had a long journey. It's time to come home. Just allow yourself to feel this feeling of coming home. And I want you to imagine yourself living the rest of your day and evening, this week to come, integrating this experience, your conversations, wherever you are, wherever you're doing, that you're still coming home to yourself, coming home to your heart. Just noticing the images that you may see, what that may look like to come home to yourself, whatever you're doing, whoever you're being. There's always the opportunity to drop deeper inside, come to a deeper place within your heart, a place of stillness, a place of silence, a place of peace. And so you can hold this intention to be the eye of the hurricane. Whatever life throws your way, you can be centered, still, calm, quiet, watching, witnessing, being conscious, no matter what life throws your way. Just notice how that feels. To be the center, of the very center of who you really are. So, just take a deep breath. Let this experience integrate and download into every cell, fiber throughout your whole body and mind. Just anchor it in right now. Take another deep breath. And just notice what it feels like to start your day, every day, from this place. And who you're going to be in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days from now. Starting this as a new habit, new way of living your life. And whenever you're ready, you can bring yourself back to all this information, knowing that it is inside of you. You can return to it at any time. It's always going to be here. And just thank yourself for going on this journey today, staying present, staying open, willing to learn and grow. It takes a very courageous person to make it this far. So what do you want to manifest in your life? What is it? The most important thing, more important than anything else. Imagine that you're already doing it. It's already happening. It just happened. It happened yesterday. And so what does it feel like? You know, as if it did happen yesterday, and what does that sound like? That's where things get really juicy, is when you don't hold on to anything. You can just let go of everything. Be free. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you. For whoever you are and whatever you think you are, always remember you're much, much, much more. You still there, Kristen?
I am. That was amazing.
Okay.
That was fantastic. And
I'm sure you passed out.
No, I'm here. I can see that, how everything that you've talked about, sort of walking that razor's edge and doing things like this can really, as you said, reinvent yourself to create the world you want. And I love this phrasing of shapeshift your life from the inside out. So I can see how all of that would really, really, have that effect. Can I ask you for, and I know we're definitely taking up a lot of your time, and I'm so appreciative of that. Would you mind sharing one or two, stories that just really stand out for you from people who have gone through maybe one of your programs or worked with you and have had some amazing turnarounds? Just anything, one or two people that really stand out to you.
Well, my testimonial page is pretty long, and these are just testimonials that people just emailed me. Just they decided this one day, I'm going to write Joffrey and say, hey, this is what happened. A couple of them that kind of blew my mind. One woman manifested $500,000. Her soulmate went on some game show, I guess how she won it. Another client I worked with, I think it was like $50,000. Most of the testimonials that kind of stand out are the ones where they kind of went from rags to riches. There's also ones where people have just completely shape-shifted their bodies, losing a lot of weight because they're releasing, the old mentality, the old belief systems, the old emotions, stuffing themselves with higher consciousness instead of food. It just changes everything. When you're lighter physically, you think lighter thoughts and just feel these lighter feelings. It really depends on where you're at in your journey to what you manifest and what's important to you, what you feel like you're lacking. Because you could have very little money, but you could feel like you're abundant and you have enough to pay your bills or whatever you need to get by, but you can feel like, hey, I've got enough, and I feel abundant. And so you may not want money, even if you're in that state. So it really depends on, I think it's basically karmically what karma you have to work out on the soul level, on the spiritual level. And so that's where the desire comes from, because it's like you don't really have any control over your desires, right? You can't have a desire for what you're going to have to desire for breakfast or for lunch or dinner, right? You don't, that just kind of comes. And I believe that's just what the soul and the karmic holding pattern is creating. Yeah. So, I play with a lot, the level of predestination, that the film of our lives has already been shot and we're just watching it frame by frame. And we don't have to struggle and suffer so much. It's already done. It's already a done deal. We're going to learn what we came here to learn. And when you come from that place, you can get really complacent and be like, well, I don't have to work on myself. I don't have to help the world or help myself or do anything, and get really lazy. And so the cure for that is pain. When you stop enjoying life so much, you're like, wait a minute. Okay, everything's predestined, but I'm not really enjoying this moment, so I'm not walking the razor's edge. Every moment, if you're not living in bliss, then you haven't gotten it yet, right? If you're not living in the state of absolute wonder, this is a miraculous experience, being here in this infinite world, this infinite universe. It's like, oh my God, it's beyond what we could have ever dreamed of. Having this ability to manifest whatever we want and being at peace with it all this power that is inside of us in a moment. Whatever we focus our attention on, that's what shows up. So it's really about, going beyond the blocks, which again is in some way beyond your control. You didn't ask for those blocks. Those were given to you. They're right? You're hand-me-downs. Yeah. Everything's borrowed. Borrowed blocks, body's borrowed. We're going to ditch it at some point, right? Unless we ascend, right? Unless you get your frequency up so high, you can bring your body with you. But that's a whole other topic.
Well, there's a calm and an ease about how you speak about all of this that makes it just instantly puts me, and I'm sure everybody listening, there's an ease about it. So you go, yeah, you know what? I don't have to struggle this much. So that's, I thank you for that. And I know that you created something special for everyone who's listening to the call. To access this page for yourself, simply click on the special offer button that's on this page. So Joffrey, could you let everybody know what they're going to find there? Are you putting together a special offer for us, maybe?
There's this packet. We have the manifesting packet. Manifesting magnet is, basically what we're helping people to train their bodies to, this higher frequency. And you'll get guided meditation, and you'll also get my manifesting manual. It talks about how to deal with the saboteur, the sabotaging thoughts and patterns. That there's three steps to transcending it. It's a whole packet of goodies. With that, you can download all of the products that are in the super manifesting package, which is everything that I've put together over the last 10, 12 years that just brings about this higher frequency. It's all in there. You got to explore it. You got to look at it for yourself to see what's in there, because it's just, there's a lot.
Wow. Yeah. It sounds like it.
Yeah. There's so much to talk about at this point.
I was going to say,
products.
Just if I was to say, Joffrey, what's one benefit that people could expect to start experiencing right away, starting to work with your stuff? What's the thing you would say?
I'd say just happiness. There's a sense of relief that comes when we understand that we're truly the creator of our entire reality, and knowing how to recreate it from the inside out, designing it how we want it to look and feel. And the sense of peace that comes with that joy is priceless. It's more valuable than billions and billions and trillions of dollars you could ever inherit or whatever. It's so important to be able to find inner peace. And this is my mission. This is my promise to the world is here it is. Here's how you find it. Here's what you do to attain or to discover it within. It's a big releasing process for some people, and some people it's just merely a choice. There's a lot of information that can help, and what I've created is sort of like it's like an escalator that takes you, skyrockets you to the next level. Just check out the testimonials. I think you'll be really blown away by what's possible. I'm coming from the experience of anything is possible. So whatever you believe is possible is also possible, for your world, even though you might not think it is. It might be crazy. You'd be surprised how powerful that you actually are.
I think that's fantastic. And I think that's absolutely, if everybody could wake up every morning and have you say that to them, that would be a very powerful thing, and the world would change very quickly. So
right. Well, you can, right? And what I say is record it. Record it to yourself. Make a little tape for yourself and say it in your the highest peak energy state of your day, and where you're just so pumped up and excited, and say it from that vibration, because that's all about vibration. If you're saying it from a place of desperation, then you're recording desperation and playing back desperation. So
right.
You need to record it from a place of such elation, like after this immense, beautiful epiphany or an orgasm or something. You're so happy, you're like, woohoo, like letting that information flow in that vibration. And so it's the vibration that goes into your consciousness, and that's what it's really about.
And I think that's the perfect thing for people to sort of go and look at the special link for you and read the testimonials. If you haven't yet, just click on the special offer button on this page to see for yourself what an amazing package this is. You'll be glad you did. Jafree, thank you so much for sharing with us today. I so appreciate you, and look forward to us crossing paths again.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything.
My pleasure. Thanks, Kristen.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you, everyone, for listening.